Hi, Dave here, and today I'm talking about using the debugger. So far we pretty much have used print statements to try to debug our code in the Java 1 course. Now today we want to learn a professional tool so we can really debug more complex applications and in fact better test our programs, because we will be able to walk through and test each line of code. And more importantly, to be a professional within the field, you need to understand this very powerful tool. So the example we're going to use today is a small little pet exercise, and I put an Eclipse project archive file out there on Google Docs, and I gave you the link so you can download and import that Eclipse archive file. So there's the link. Here I create a workspace CSC 230, but what you call it's up to you. And I'd like you to import your preference file so that you'll have your preferences all set. In fact, I want to talk about preferences as we first start off. So let me bring up Java. I've already loaded my pet archive Eclipse project, and the actual project name from the pet archive file is pet debug February 11th. And the first thing I want to do is go out to my preferences. And under preferences, I've already opened Java, I've opened debug, and I've gone to step filtering. I want to use step filters, and I turned all my filters on. What I'm saying is all these packages that I might be using or importing, I'm assuming they've all been debugged, and I only want to debug my code. I don't want to go into somebody else's packages. So I'll make sure that's applied and it's in effect. So I have my preferences set. Let me bring up pet demo GUI. Pretty simple little application. I want to create a GUI object. I call it GUI. I want to create a little small model object that I'll call pet to model a pet. Constructor, create instances of each. In a main method. The main method is just going to create an instance of the pet demo with GUI class and call the driver method go. I'm going to want to stop inside my code as soon as I get inside of my pet demo with GUI method. So the way I stop is by putting a breakpoint. And I'm going to go into this gray gutter next to line 20, and I'm going to double click, and then a breakpoint symbol has been placed in. Now to run in debug mode, I clicked on pet demo with GUI, I right click, and instead of picking run as, I'm going to pick debug as. Java application. When I do that, I'll be told it's going to change perspective. That's fine. So let's change. And what's going to happen is up here, I'm going to go from the Java perspective to the debug perspective. Don't worry, you can always get back to the Java perspective. So I click yes, and you can see that we have this new window that came up. The top left window is called a stack frame, and it's going to show us all the stacks that are on the frame, and it's going to show us which one is the currently active frame. So right now it's showing me that pet demo with GUI is the only frame on the stack, and it's paused. Is the pause symbol at line 20. If I click on that down below in my editor box, it will show me that I'm stopped at line 20. See the arrow there? And it's getting ready to execute this line of code. It hasn't executed that line of code, but it's getting ready to. In my top right window, yours might look a little bit different. I'll have 3 tabs. Most likely variables will be active for you. The variables tag will show you all active variables. Now notice down here in the editor, the only variable that's been defined prior to line 20 is args. So here it's showing us args. And if I clicked on it, it's showing me that it currently has an empty value. In this window here, I have an outline view of the currently active method main. So let's see, I'm going to clean this up a little bit. Let me make this window a little bit bigger. Okay, that's super. Now, I'm going to want to move through my code. And the first thing I'm going to want to do is step inside this pet demo with GUI method. How do I move? The movement controls are right here. I can resume, which means continue running from the breakpoint. I can stop, in other words, just kill the application. I can step into this pet demo with GUI method, or I can step over it and just go to line 21. And here I have an inactive piece that says I can always step out of a method. And here I have a button that says, Dave, use the step filters that you just set up. So I'll click that because I want the filters to be in effect. So let's try the step over first. If step over works properly, I should go from line 20 down to line 21. So I click step over. Sure enough, I move from line 20 down to line 21. I also see that up here now, I have not only args, but I have another variable in scope called app. If we look down here in our editor, we saw that we defined a local variable app of type pet demo with GUI. If I click on app to open it up, it will show me currently that the app object has a GUI data member and a pet data member. And I can open that up to see the current values. So a real cool thing about the debugger is I can always see the variables that are in scope, and I can click on those to see their current settings. So let's say I just want to run to the end of the program. I can just click resume, and since I have no more breakpoints, it should run all the way to the end. So I click resume. It ran my program to the end, displays me some pet information. So in the debugger perspective, I mentioned before if you wanted to, you could easily get back to the Java perspective. So I come up here, I can click Java, and I'm back in the Java perspective. If you don't see the Java perspective, you can always come to this icon and look down to see what the various choices are for perspectives. But I'm back in the Java perspective, and I decide I want to debug again. So I come back out, right click, debug as, Java application. My breakpoint is still set at line 20, so I should go right back to line 20. So this time, instead of stepping over, let's step into. If I step into, I should see another stack frame come on top here as I now have gone not only into pet demo, the main method, I would have also gone into the pet demo with GUI method. So here I'm at the step into. I click that. We can see a new stack frame has gone on top. I'm now stopped at pet demo with GUI at line 14. So I clicked on that, and sure enough, here I am at line 14, pet demo with GUI. What happens if I now click, well, let me step into this method. I'm now at the first line of the code. Now I have a choice. I can step over to go to line 16 to go into GUI, or I can step into to go down into the constructor for pet. So I'm going to say step into. We can see now that pet demo with GUI is called pet, and I'm at line 18 of pet. I can step into pet. I'm now at the first line, and I can continue to step, and I'll go through each value. Now one cool thing here is I'm in pet, I can look at my variables window, and I can see currently age is 0, name is null, weight is 0. If I execute line 19, if I step over to go to line 20, name should be set to no name yet, and I should see it automatically changed up here in the variables perspective. So I'll come up, I'm going to step over now to go to line 20. And sure enough, notice how name changed. I'll step over again, and I should go to line 21. Step over again to go to line 22. Now if I click step over again, I should see that my pet constructor is finished. That frame should be popped off the stack, and I should be active back in pet demo with GUI. Let's see if that's the case. I'll step over. Sure enough, stack goes away. I am now back in line 15. Now what's important about line 15 is I haven't completed it yet. I've completed the right side of the equal sign. I've created a new pet, but I haven't put it back in my pet variable yet. I can see that by clicking on this, and I can see that pet is still null. If I step over and go to line 16, we should see that pet gets an instance. So I stepped over, I'm at line 16, and sure enough up here we see that pet was set equal to an address of an instance of pet. I can open that up and I can see the current variables. So I have two methods that are active. Pet demo with GUI, when that returns, we'll go back to the main method. So I'm going to step over to go to line 17. If I click step over again, I should come back down to a single stack frame. Sure enough, that's the case. Now, let's step over again to go to line 21. I'm now getting ready to go into the go method. And if I look down below here in the go method, a bunch of statements get executed. And I might not want to continue to go line by line by line, so I can set other breakpoints. I can come down, say, to line 35. I can double click in the gutter, and I now have two breakpoints set. I got the one at 21, and I have the one at 35. I can see that by coming up here to the upper right and clicking the breakpoint tab. And that will show me that I currently have two breakpoints active. So I'm at line 21. If I click resume, it's going to run as far as it can, and typically that is till it gets to the next breakpoint. So I click resume. My code continues to run. I get prompted a display of the current pet. I'll get prompted for the pet's name. The pet is called Kaiser. That's my boxer. Yes, the boxer is 10 years of age, weighs 100 pounds. Might be a little bit more now. I'll click OK. And the program continues to run all the way down to line 35. And I'm currently at line 35. I can come down here and I can look at all my variables. I can see that my pet currently has an age of 10, Kaiser, 100 pounds. My header variable set. What else? Weight, name, age, etc. So I'm getting ready to finish up. So I could just click the green arrow to continue running again. I'll run all the way to the end, or I could continue to step. I'll click the green arrow. Program continues to run. We can see up above it's terminated, and that's the end of the debugger. So I hope you enjoyed this quick tour. Please play with it. Get used to stepping through and looking at your variables. It's the easiest way to track down difficult problems such as a null pointer exception. Okay, have a great day.